the world of the biggest risk. You see, 80%, 90% of Jews are lost. People are drowning.
This is a world of evil that has also evil. The Alter Rebbe writes from the Eitz Chaim that this is a world where the wicked are strong. This is the lowest level that we need to deal with. We need to refine the world, and it's a big job, and it's not getting better. I mean, it's getting better in a spiritual sense to a certain extent that we're not seeing now, but definitely our deeds are accomplishing. But on the other hand, when we look at the world, it's there's a lot happening out there. So it's interesting. The Alter Rebbe in Tanya, when he says, "What is the proof that this is the purpose for everything?" He says, because we can't say that this world is for another revelation. Okay, this is the Inyan, and if we should say that's for another revelation, so to create this world is a descent for the Almighty, if it would be only revelation. So we must say there's a deeper purpose. The deeper purpose is mentioned, actually not only in Chassidus. Sometimes people think, oh, the Alter Rebbe came up with it. There's no problem, I have no problem with that. But the anthology mentions it in many different places.
Midrash.
That Almighty, the Medrash, the Almighty had a desire to live together with His creations. And this is the world.
So, but we're at a very big disadvantage here. Hashem puts us behind the 8 ball here. I mean, this is a very scary place.
On the other hand, because we are physical creation, we testify on the true creation, on the true being, who is the Almighty Himself. In other words, where do we see the greatness of God? We see it when there's something physical created. When you have the higher worlds, all the worlds, chain of creation, you can't even measure it in miles, it's higher than distance. You speak about all these different worlds, they're all one revelation, another revelation. It's considered a chain of the creation. A chain means one ring is within another. Come down. Comes to this world, there's an interesting expression that the Rebbe Rashab, the 5th Rebbe of Chabad, said. It was Simchas Torah. The whole spirit was a different one then. Rebbe Rashab spoke a Maimed that he did not prepare for it. Delivered a Hasidic discourse for 2 hours. That he didn't prepare for it. More than 2 hours. And in the Maimed he speaks in this discourse the unique value of this physical world. The unique significance of this physical world. And he says, all these worlds still here are all revelations and different kind of expressions. And then comes in a level, in Yiddish there's an expression, I'll say it first in Yiddish. The expression is genug de kunsten. Enough the tricks. So now we need something serious business. And that's where this world is created. This physical world. When we come to the Shabbos prayer in the morning, we come to Baruch Hu, after, before Keiloden, we say, Ein arech lecha Hashem Elokeinu b'olam hazeh. We can't compare, we say, Ein arech lecha, we speak about our ratio, our relationship to our Almighty. Then it says, where do we see the extreme opposite extremes, the two opposite extremes, how far we are removed from the Creator is in this physical world. So Chassidus says, what's in this physical world? He says, because this is the world that Hashem created, physical world. To create a physical world, it is something that's completely beyond everything. The Talmud tells us that if all the kings of the East and West will gather together, they can't even create a mosquito. He says, therefore, this is not something that a person can understand, creating something from nothing. Therefore, this is where we see the greatness of the Almighty more than the other worlds. The other worlds are revelations. And therefore, getting back to your question, knowing that this is where He invested the creation, and He invested His desire in everything, so it's a definite thing that He also finds Himself here. Yeah.
So, approximately 6,000 years ago, when the world was created, the physical world was created, but what else was created? The other worlds also, or no? Or they existed before? What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
They're talking about the physical world.
Just the physical world.
Chassidus explains that the creation marked also the whole chain of creation.
Okay, Coleman.
The whole
The
chain
other-
of creation
were the other-
before.
Were the other worlds also created at that time, or did they exist before the creation of the world?
It seems like it all happened at the same time, because Hasidus explains Hashamayim va'aretz, not only this physical world, but the chain of creation, the different worlds.
So it's all happening.
Yeah, and it's still happening now, and every
Right.
second it's happening.
Right.
Rabbi, I think that the challenge is that what we haven't taken up is what Rabbi Moshe had done, spend time with Hashem, and the light came into him, and he came down from the mountain. That we are not really being the light to the rest of the earth. With the Torah.
Okay, the prophet Isaiah says that the nation, the Jewish nation, will be light upon other nations. One of the ways of accomplishing it is through Torah mitzvahs. These are the tools, these are the vessels, these are the channels through which we can draw light down into the world. Now it is like in a treasure box. And Hasidus explains, when Mashiach will come, we will have the key to the, even in other discourses it's mentioned that we even have the key. But when we will have the redemption, we will see how everything is going to come forth. And in a very obvious way that the whole world will be able to see it with their eye, literally with their own eyes. Ro chol basar. It says that the godly revelation will be such that kol basar, not only the eyes, the flesh alone will see. The flesh will be able to relate to it, because the world will be refined on a higher standard.
Does it also say that even though the world is very dark now and it's full of physicality, we don't see stuff, there's also a bigger revelation of Torah now that's happening more than ever. See all the Kabbalah coming out.
Right. The Rebbe mentioned the interesting thing about 32 years ago. Talk about this around this parsha, that there are so many revelations of manuscripts that are actually published now from hundreds of years that we never had them, from Rishonim, from Achreinim. I mean, there are things that are discovered in Rome or in other libraries, things that nobody ever knew they existed. The Jerusalem Talmud, I mean, there's still pieces that we don't have.
Well,
and then there is in other libraries, there's a lot of inyanim that people are partially amazed how much is being discovered. I mean, in our time, there was a certain rabbi that lived in Borough Park, in Brooklyn.
Really?
He published 40 svarim, 40 books, writings from the Rishonim that were never published. He had contact with the Vatican, he had contact with libraries, and it was amazing how he had divine providence wherever he went, wherever he traveled. It was like amazing. I mean, there was one point that he came to a certain place, and the taxi took him to a certain place, Montreal, and he goes in, he looks at the address, the wrong place. But for whatever reason, he stayed there a while. They went out, they're discussing with him different things, came up, they have old scrolls. They have no idea what they are, they inherited them, and he gave a look, he found things that he was looking for years. Divine Providence, the driver had the wrong address.
When was this? What year?
This is talking about 1960s, 70s, Rabbi Blau. Moshe Yehuda Blau was a very famous scholar who published, I mean, a one-man operation, published about 40 books. His son just married off a child a few years ago, and he put it all on a CD. Today everything is on a CD, 40, PDF format. But it's amazing how much is being discovered more and more. But we think that we're at the end of the world, but it's actually, there's a lot of things still